I did was play it. I'm American, so I played it. I said it.
I always wondered because it seems so natural to me.
I don't know how it started, or when.
I can't stop reading it. It's like something.
There's something strange about the number 27. At some point, people started noticing a pattern. Some of the most talented, influential musicians in history, all dying at exactly the same age, 27. And the more you look into it, the harder it is to ignore. They call it the 27 Club, and even though it's not a real club, the story behind it feels almost scripted. The idea is simple. Over the years, a number of famous artists died at 27, and their names kept piling up. At first, it didn't mean much, just tragic stories, but then people started connecting the dots, and once you hear the names, it hits differently, because these aren't just random musicians, these are legends. Long before the rock gods of the 70s, the myth of the 27 Club began with a single crossroads in Mississippi. Legend says Robert Johnson traded his soul to the devil for unmatched blues genius, but the debt was collected all too soon. He died by mysterious circumstances at the age of 27. Let's move to the late 60s. Brian Jones, one of the founders of the Rolling Stones, had already become a cautionary story. Brilliant musician, but struggling to keep control of his life. He drowned in his pool not long after leaving the band. He was 27. Jimi Hendrix, if you've ever seen him play, you already know. The way he handled a guitar, it didn't feel human. It was raw and unpredictable. He mastered the use of guitar effects like feedback and distortion to make new sounds. He set his guitar on fire. In 1970, he died after choking in his sleep following heavy substance use, and he was 27. Just weeks later, Janis Joplin dies. Her voice sounded like it carried every emotion at once: pain, joy, and anger. She was living through every word she sang. She died of a heroin overdose, also 27 years old. And then there's Jim Morrison, frontman of The Doors, part rock star, part poet, part mystery. He combined the brooding charisma of a romantic poet with the unpredictable edge of a 1960s counterculture icon. He moved to Paris in 1971, trying to escape the chaos, but never really got away from it. He was found dead in his apartment. 28? No, still 27. 4 icons within a couple of years. That's when people really started paying attention. Then, in the 90s, a new name shocked the world: Kurt Cobain. For a lot of people, he was a voice they understood, someone who said things others were afraid to say. It's pointless to describe his life in a few sentences if even an hour-long video isn't enough for that. But he suffered. That's the thing. In 1994, he died by suicide. Guess the age. And then, much closer to our time, Amy Winehouse. Her music felt brutally honest, like she wasn't trying to impress anyone, just telling the truth. In 2011, she died from alcohol poisoning, 27 again. At this point, it stops feeling like just a coincidence, and the fact that there are many other famous personalities in this club, but when you look deeper, there's no real mystery behind the number itself. What you do see is a pattern of the way they lived. Tough childhood, early fame, pressure to stay relevant, constant attention, and most often as a result, mental health struggles and addiction. Sometimes people imagine fame as something that fixes everything, but in reality, it often does the opposite. Suddenly, there's no normal life anymore. No privacy, no space to just be a person and make mistakes in peace. Every emotion becomes public. Every struggle gets amplified, and the pressure to stay perfect never really stops. For some people, That kind of attention is too much to carry for a long time. Still, the idea of the 27 Club stays in people's minds, maybe because it feels unfinished. Like all of them were just getting started. You listen to their music and think, what would they sound like today? So it's a reminder that behind every legend, there's a real person with struggles we don't always see. And maybe that's the most important part of this story, not how they died, but how much they managed to give the world before they even turned 28.